Hello, I hope you're having a great day. Today I wanted to talk about something near and dear to my heart, hair loss. Something that I've suffered with throughout my life, mostly in the last, 5-ish years as I've gotten older. It's a very common concern these days, especially since that virus began and made us start shedding our hair a lot. I'm going to just go through what happened to me and what's helped, and also go over what hasn't really helped that much. So let's get started. I got the virus I was able to hold off for 3 years. So I got it in 2023 in the spring and was kind of sick. I took the antiviral drug for it, and then I got a rebound. So I was pretty sick. Anyway, it wasn't anything like life-threatening or a hospital situation, but it just went on for a long time. And about 3 months later, what do you know, my hair started shedding a lot more than it usually does. And I do have a pretty heavy shed anyway every day. I feel like I lose at least 100 hairs, maybe 150 on a normal day. So this was about August of 2023, and I remember vividly my hair was a little bit longer than this. I've since cut my hair to make it look thicker. And it was really thinning out, especially in the shower. I would notice, you guys know what it feels like. It's very disheartening. You think, okay, maybe 3 months, maybe 6 months, this will go on because it's just a natural occurrence after you have a sickness or, stressful life event or something. I mean, there was also stresses in my life at the time. So I figured give it, max 6 months and things should calm down. Well, into 2024, it went on, and it was the spring of 2024 when I felt like it had been about 9 months, and I was starting to get a little worried. By that time, I had already started, because I have used minoxidil in the past, I had already started using topical minoxidil. I think I had some, or I knew where to buy it in Walmart. I buy the men's 5%. Let me show you what I bought in my little bag of stuff here. Actually, I bought this kind at Costco because I think I got a 5-pack of this topical minoxidil. And then I had heard from other people on the internet to just decant it into a spray bottle so that you could spray it onto your, scalp in sections. So that's what I would do after I showered. And then if I wasn't going to shower the next day, like I usually wash my hair every 2 to 3 days, I would reapply it the next day. So I would apply it every day, even if I wasn't washing my hair. So it would get kind of gross at the roots. I have blonde hair naturally. It's pretty dark blonde, but it would make it appear even darker, greasier, dirtier. So I wasn't happy with that. I mean, I was used to it because I had gone through this before back in 2017 when I started Bright Line Eating, and I lost about 10 pounds. I lost some hair then too. It wasn't as dramatic, but I did use minoxidil then because I was already in my 40s and I knew this could start happening to me in life. The older age, hair loss, woman's pattern baldness or whatever, female pattern baldness. So I was experienced with topical minoxidil already. Now it did help grow in some little hairs around, here. And unfortunately they didn't really seem to grow out all the way or become long hairs. So I felt like I constantly had lots of baby hairs, but they didn't turn into strong, normal hairs. So topical minoxidil was really just not making the cut for me this time. It seemed to be a pretty aggressive hair loss shedding situation. So I tried to make an appointment with a dermatologist. They were 3 months booked out. I decided to take matters into my own hands, so to speak, and I reached out to my normal doctor and requested a prescription for oral minoxidil, because I'd been starting to hear about how people were taking it orally in very small amounts to help with female pattern and telogen, whatever the word is, TE, hair loss. I figured, if it's a lifelong thing, okay, it's just a small dose of a very, pretty risk-free drug, minoxidil. Minoxidil has been used for high blood pressure in larger amounts, and consequently, my blood pressure is always a little on the high side when I get it tested in a doctor's office, let's put it that way. But I'm usually a little stressed out then, so I'm not sure if that's a normal reading or not. So I wasn't too worried about it making my blood pressure too low or, feeling dizzy or faint or anything like that. So that is essentially to wrap up this whole, I could wrap up this whole video and just say that the prescription of oral minoxidil is what helped grow my hair back somewhat. It's pretty good. It's pretty thick. Now, I will say that it did seem to change the texture. I don't know if you can see, but it feels more wiry and a little more coarse and unruly now than it used to. I used to feel like I had more of my father's side hair, which is fine and soft and straight. And now I feel like I have more of my mother's side hair, which is a little bit of frizz and curl and more coarse. Actually, I don't think it's really curly. It's just kind of coarse and like frizzy. So unfortunately, I don't get natural curl. I just get natural frizz. Another thing that I forgot to mention that I had used in that time when I was using Topical is this women's Rogaine foam, because I found out that this I was sensitive to. There's an ingredient in this. I can't remember, but I'll put it on screen what the ingredient is, and it was making my skin peel on my scalp. So it was not very attractive and not very comfortable either. It was like itchy and irritated. So if you have that problem and you want to stick with topical minoxidil, use a foam because it doesn't have that ingredient. So I use this 5% women's Rogaine topical foam for a moment while I was on the topical train. It's unscented and it's kind of pricey. I think this was around $30 just for this small bottle, and there's still some in there, but I've since stopped using topical because you're not supposed to use topical if you're using oral, it could be too much. I also bought a Nioxin system because I've used this in the past. So I did use a Nioxin scalp and hair treatment and the shampoo and the conditioner. It didn't really seem to do much. This may have helped a little bit, but it's kind of like topical for me. It didn't work enough. So that's the Nioxin. This is number 4 for color safe hair because I do get my hair highlighted. That's another issue I had. I kind of cut back on highlighting my hair because it was so thin and seemed really damaged and brittle. So I cut back highlighting it from like 4 times a year to like 2 times a year. So now you can see it's a lot darker than I used to wear my hair. I'm naturally blonde, but not that naturally blonde. Now, a shampoo that I have loved through this whole journey, I think it was my past hairdresser who recommended this because I bought it in the salon where she works, or that type of salon, is this Surface Awaken shampoo. Now, this is a therapeutic shampoo. It does have like a nice pepperminty feel. If you want to try a great shampoo for thinning hair that feels nice, let me check. Capsicum and menthol stimulate the scalp for maximum delivery of nutrients and cellular rejuvenation, sulfate-free. So I've been using this for a long time now. It is expensive, but you can get it on sale, so watch for sales. Also, I shampoo twice when I wash my hair. So I suds up once, rinse, suds up again, only on the scalp. And I've learned a lot about hair care through the Blowout Professor, I believe his name is, that YouTube channel. That's a great one to watch. He has a lot of informative videos on hair care. So I really, learned a lot about hair care through him, through his channel. I kept my dermatologist appointment even though I was already on oral minoxidil. And when I saw her, I had been on it for about 2-3 months, and I had kind of started to see some results. It does sort of make you go through a shed phase, which isn't fun when you're already shedding, but you kind of just have to stick through it. And most people, I think it works for. I'm not sure. It worked for me, and I have a very, a large subset of things going on with me, like Hashimoto's, and I had very low iron. The causes of my hair loss are still a mystery to me, but it could have been a number of things. It could have been the post-virus thing. It could have been that my Hashimoto's went way out of control. I've had Hashimoto's for over 30 years now, and my TSH was at 1.23. I don't know why. I've had to go up in my dosage of thyroid medication a lot over the past 2 years, and I've just now finally gotten it back to a good level after 2 years of going up in dose. Also, I discovered that my ferritin was low, my iron. Ferritin is your stores of iron, and I think that's like the last thing you see, or is it the first or the last thing you see as far as numbers, where it's kind of like a red flag that you really need to watch out for your iron. But my mother has had anemia before, like in her teens even, so I knew that something could happen to me, and a lot of times it goes hand in hand with Hashimoto's. You have to watch out for that, because if one isn't working, the other isn't optimal. So my ferritin was like 17 in the fall of 2023. It should be, I think it should be above 80. So I've started to take iron, and I'll go get the supplement I take. Okay, I'll leave my glasses off so there's not so much of a glare. But I went and got my supplement that I take. It's called 3 Arrows Iron Repair. And this is heme iron, which is the kind of iron that you get from meats and organs and stuff like that. But if you don't want to eat organ meat and liver and stuff, this would be a good way to get it. It's also, I did a lot of research on this. I joined an iron Facebook group and read about all of this. So I kind of had to educate myself. The first type of iron that I used I didn't like. I think it was iron bisglycinate, which is, it's kind of cheaper, but this works really well. It does not affect your gastrointestinal system as much. Don't want that to slow down too much or cause problems. This doesn't do that, and to me personally. And I started slow. I took like 1 for the first few days, and I took 2, and I worked up to taking 2 earlier in the day and 2 later in the day. So I was up to 4 pills a day. I want to make sure that it's plateaued. You don't want to make it start dropping again after you've gotten your levels up. It can interfere with the absorption of your other medications, so you need to watch out for that, especially for me. My thyroid medications, I have to take this 4 hours away from it. I guess iron absorbs better in the morning. I'm not sure if with heme that's the case, but I'm not a doctor, so don't listen to me for medical advice. This is just what worked for me. So on a better track with my iron, gonna see where to go from here. Hopefully I don't have to continue taking these, well, so much of these, because they are kind of pricey. I think this is $75 for 3 bottles. So that's the iron portion of things. You need to watch out for that. If you have hair loss, maybe you should have that checked, especially if you're a woman who's still having her cycles. The other issue I had was perimenopause. So I'm definitely in perimenopause. I'm 47, and I began taking some progesterone and a little bit of topical testosterone during this period too. So if your testosterone's too high or too low, that can cause hair loss. If your hormones are out of whack, obviously it causes hair loss. You have to be aware of all that. Again, I'm not a doctor. This is just what worked for me. What I do with my oral minoxidil, now my doctor prescribed 2.5 milligram, but it was too much for me. I didn't want to take that much, so I started with half a tablet a day. So that would be 1.25 milligram. And then I really saw the hair growth. You see the hair growth all over your body, including your face, your legs, your armpits, everywhere. So it takes a lot of maintenance to keep the hair where you want it and where you don't want it. I'm just so happy to see hair growth on my head that I've kept up with the pills. Recently I have tapered down. I've been able to taper down slowly to just 1/4 of a pill a day. So now I'm taking 1/4 of a 2.5 milligram minoxidil pill every night. So that's what I'm doing right now for maintenance, and I'm sure it's making my hair grow more than it would naturally. My blood pressure is good. It's a little lower. I don't feel like I'm going to pass out or be dizzy. I haven't had that happen to me before. Now with low iron, that can make you feel the feeling of dizziness or weakness, faintness. So I did have that symptom in the beginning when my ferritin was very low. I know this issue is really hard. I mean, there was a point where I was gathering the hair from my shower wall after I washed my hair, which was always kind of a stressful event. Washing your hair is stressful when you have hair loss and you see all the hairs coming out and the hair in your drain. So we have like a thing to cover our drain, these little stickers we bought on Amazon that, you know, filter that keep the hair from going down. We had to do that because I had so much hair loss. And then the hair on the side of the shower. And I literally took all that hair one day and tried to count it just to see if I was crazy or not. I know that sounds crazy to do that, but I feel like I got up to like 300 hairs. So, and then I put it in a baggie too, in case I needed to take it to a dermatologist to show how much hair I was losing and that it was a lot. So yeah, I felt like I had, at one point my scalp was showing more than I wanted it to, and a little bit of a lot of skin showing back here where you wouldn't see it, but if you take a mirror, have other people look, they can see it. And then the parts here, my hair was definitely thinning more on the top and front. I naturally have thicker hair in the back, but it was really thin up front to where after I showered, I didn't feel like I had any hair down here, barely anything. Talk about some products that I like. Aside from the shampoo, this Surface Awaken shampoo, something that my dermatologist recommended, but I was already using because I'd done my research, is Nizoral. So I use this once a week. This is just the 1% ketoconazole anti-dandruff shampoo. So you shampoo this up, leave it on your scalp for like 3 to 5 minutes, as long as you can manage when you're in the shower. And that will help with female pattern baldness too. Apparently it removes some of the, I can forget the hormone or whatever that builds up on your scalp, and it can help clear that away. But again, I'm not a doctor, but I just have done my research. So this works too. It is something dermatologists recommend for hair loss, but don't overuse it. I just use it once a week. It's kind of drying, and it does kind of strip the hair color from your hair if you've had it colored. So that's definitely a downside, but you do what you have to do. A product that I personally have always liked for thin hair is this mousse, and I never hear people talk about this brand, but it's Ref, and this is fiber mousse. So it kind of formulates a little bit of bonds, I feel like, to make your strands feel thicker. And you just work that through from, you know, about here, not totally at the roots, but almost down to the roots and through your hair. I just use very small, I don't know, quarter mound size of this after I shower. I like that. I also use a leave-in conditioner after I shower, so I don't hurt my hair brushing it out with a wet brush, of course, when it's wet. And then another one that I like is the Aveda Pure Abundance Style Prep. So this gives you weightless volume. And Aveda products are pretty nice. I like them. So I just spray this kind of throughout my area here, you know, underneath to give a little more volume. Now that my hair texture has changed, I don't probably need as much volume. It's kind of wiry and frizzy. So now I have bought some oil and balm to calm down the frizziness. It's just kind of new for me in my life. I've never really had to use that kind of stuff before. But those are a couple products that I like for volume. I'm going to insert a few pictures here because I forgot to mention these supplements that I take. And I don't know, there's just supplements, so take them or leave them, but I like to use supplements. So this is women's saw palmetto and pumpkin seed oil, and they are natural DHT blockers. So if you suspect or know that that's happening in your body, your female pattern baldness, something like that, these may help. And I've been taking biotin for a long time. I just take one of these gummies because they're very high dose, I believe, and I think just one is enough. So I take one of these a day. And I've been taking collagen peptides for probably over 8 years, ever since I had some joint issues. This also helps with skin, nails, hair, so really like collagen. So I hope this helped, and I hope that you have hope in your hair journey if you're losing hair. and that something works for you. Just leave any questions you have for me in the comments, and I will see you next time. Bye.